Assistant Director of Volunteerism, and today I have the pleasure of talking to Jessica Tucker, who's called in from New Zealand. And Jessica is a Senior Associate in Systems Engineering, Becca Applied Technologies, based in New Zealand. She's also the Interim Vice President of a very newly formed New Zealand chapter. Originally from the West Coast of America, United States of America, she's made New Zealand her home, and kicking off this chapter, I'm sure she has many exciting snippets to share with us. So welcome, Jessica.
Thank you, Stuti. It's really great to be here.
Great. So, the first question I would like to ask you is about your brief volunteering experience and how it has benefited you personally and professionally.
Okay, so I used to work at a company where, like in INCOSE specifically, was very well represented. Both there were lots of members, there were lots of certified systems engineering professionals. I looked around and I could see INCOSE sort of everywhere. And I really took it for granted that this body of systems engineering professionals was just the normal way of business. That was the normal way of operating. When I moved to New Zealand and discovered that there wasn't a local chapter, but that there were some passionate, motivated, clever, smart, engaged systems engineering practitioners around me, we came together and said, we think we can pull this chapter. We think we can pull this chapter together. Come on, team, let's do it. And in just a couple of years, we went from fewer than 10 people interested in coming together to more than 40 active members today, and continuing to grow. So the passion and the engagement and the commitment to doing something that's much bigger than any of us individually has really, it's really easy to get caught up in that, and it's really easy to pour a lot of time and energy and be motivated to continue to engage and give back, because I really feel like I've gotten so much out of INCOSE specifically.
Great, Jessica. I think a couple of points you mentioned. One is passion, and collective passion is much greater than individual passion. I think that's a great observation and reflection on, as you together with the core team have kicked off New Zealand chapter off the ground, and such an amazing thing to hear that there are 40 plus members, and that's difficult to get it right at the start. So I think great background work and homework done. So congratulations to New Zealand chapter. Great. So maybe I'm sure as you described your past, experience of being very closely, associated with INCOSE, along with your peers, as well as now, as you're forming a new chapter in itself in New Zealand. I'm sure there are many memorable volunteering moments. Would you like to share a few with us?
So there are two that come to mind right off the top of my head. One of them was a moment, so to be a chapter, to operate a chapter of INCOSE here, we have to, in New Zealand, form something that's called an incorporated society, which is it's a legal entity like a company. That means that the chapter will operate, the chapter will exist even if the individuals change, right? So as volunteers, because we're giving our time, it was really important to make sure that there was a framework that would allow us to share the burden and share the love, and so that the chapter would exist, sort of above and beyond any of us as individuals. So in February of this year, we held our first annual general meeting, and we had given the presentation, explaining what we were trying to do and why we wanted to do it. And we did a roll call of the 20-something members who made that particular meeting. And we asked each and every one, you know, do you, are we resolved to form an incorporated society for INCOSE here in New Zealand? And one by one, like everybody who was there said yes. It was unanimous.
Wow.
And then we asked, you know, are we resolved to form a chapter? You know, not just to form this incorporated society, but to form a chapter and sign up to, you know, live up to the expectations of INCOSE, and can make that commitment to that kind of professionalism. And one by one, the answer was yes, 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 yes. It gave me goosebumps. It was so cool, not to just like, I mean, I'm an enthusiastic, passionate practitioner of this domain. I really do think that, you know, you can do much more with a systems approach than you can without it. And to have, you know, to sort of formally come together and look around, and virtually, we did it online, but to look around and see, you know, so many other people who were just as passionate and just as committed and just as interested in sort of seeing this initiative get across the line. Oh, it was so good. It was so good. So that was one of the moments of, you know, of being part of this collective whole. But every month since, well, every month or every other month for the last year, we've held a meetup. It's just an informal, we have a webinar, you know, some Zoom platform, and we have a speaker come talk about a topic. And, you know, I want to convey my individual thanks and our sort of the chapter's collective thanks. And so I draw this little, you know, Microsoft Paint award of thanks, or, you know, token of thanks, and it's different every single time. And when I've handed that off, you know, when I send it, oh, thank you on behalf of the chapter, thank you for presenting and coming to our meetup and all that stuff. And the positive response that, you know, it's just a tiny little Microsoft graphic, you know, like there's no skill, like, and, you know, it's a tiny bit of effort, but what you get back in return is much greater than what you put in, right? And that's a perfect metaphor for the volunteerism that we have here in INCOSE, right? You put time in, it takes time and it takes energy and thought to do it well and to do it right. But what you get back is so much more than what you put in. It's really highly motivating to be part of the team. It certainly makes me want to, you know, continue to have a hand in shaping the direction of where we're going, and engaging with my peers to figure out, you know, how we're going to chart this course together.
Wow, excellent. And just reflecting on how you might have experienced the unanimous agreement, it's so energizing, as well as I'm sure a very, you know, very memorable moment for the, you know, sort of as you're forming this chapter, and to look back always to that moment that everyone was agreeing to this part. So great. Thank you for sharing that memory with us. And yeah, and I totally relate to what you mentioned in terms of, you know, this whole thing being a very gratifying experience. Although it's in the technical space, still, I think we do so many things as volunteers, which somehow touch the lives of different members, whether senior or junior to us. I think some way it impacts them, and I think they also get inspired to give back in return, right? So in that order, what would be your top key message? Because we want more and more members to be active and inspiring and encouraging. So what would be your top key message to encourage members to volunteer with INCOSE?
I think a lot of people might see a volunteer organization or a volunteer opportunity and think, oh, I just don't have time for that. And you know, while it's true, some of the most some of the biggest, most, how much you can put as much into it as you want. You're going to get return, but I think that for students, for people who are just at the beginning of their systems engineering journey, they really need to believe and understand that that just because they're starting doesn't mean that they don't have something valuable to contribute. The difference in their perspective, the sum total of their individual experience is going to bring something to the table that would otherwise not be represented, and that's really important. So getting involved, just in one way or another, be it in a small supporting organizing kind of role, in a facilitator kind of role, someone to help maintain an email list, someone to help send reminders about activities, that all of that those lowest level administrative things. You don't need technical experience and expertise in order to make a valuable contribution. And if you're sufficiently motivated, if you're really in and amongst that group, and finding that it really is your passion place, you can really, the opportunities are limitless. You can really get your hands in and dirty, and get a really big, make a big impact, positive impact on the community around you, as well as as well as opportunity for technical growth. So it really is like, just get in and do it. Put your hand up, and if you're not sure how you can help, brainstorm it with the person who's asking for volunteers, because it may be that they're looking for something really specific, and maybe you don't have the time to commit. But if you put your hand up and you say, I want to lend a hand, I don't have that amount of availability, but maybe in the future you'll keep me in mind for something will come along. Circumstances will change. Everything is dynamic. It's just important to put your hand up, and put your hand in. And when you're done, put your hand up and take a break and step back. That's important too. It's opting in and opting out. And that's really what volunteering is so great. What's so great about volunteering.
Wow, that was a great packet full of advice. And I think two things I take away from what you mentioned was very important. I mean, everything, the whole message, but just two things that really stand out for me is hand up and hand in to just get started. I think that's a great way to motivate volunteers, those who are, engaged passively but would like to contribute. So very, very simple action, and it'll just get the momentum started. And the other you mentioned was opportunities are limitless. I truly believe with my tenure with INCOSE so far, I 100% believe in that. Opportunities are limitless, and they can come in any shape and form the way we want to drive. So, that's the beauty, and that's the benefit of volunteering with organizations such as INCOSE. Great, Jessica. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts and such beautiful message and sharing the memories. I'm sure now they are recorded for lifetime.
Yes. My pleasure, Stuti. Thank you for reaching out.